Imagine turning $1.20 a week into $500 million. Sounds impossible, right? But one man actually did it. And the crazy part? He wasn't a genius. He didn't have connections. He didn't even finish school. He just made one bet and refused to quit for 20 years. This is the story that might change everything you think you know about getting rich. Andrew Carnegie. You've probably heard the name, but most people have no idea how he actually made his fortune. They think, oh, he got lucky with steel. Wrong. Carnegie was dirt poor. Like actually poor. He came to America from Scotland with nothing. His family lived in a basement. At 12 years old, he had to drop out of school to work in a cotton factory. 12 years old. Most of us were playing video games at that age. Carnegie? He was working 12-hour shifts just so his family could eat. But here's what's wild. That same kid, with no education, no money, no advantages, became one of the richest people who ever lived. Not by accident, by making one smart bet and sticking with it longer than anyone else would. Let's rewind to 1848. Carnegie is 12, working in a Pittsburgh cotton factory. His job? Changing spools of thread on machines. Over and over. All day long. He made $1.20 a week. That's not even minimum wage for an hour today. But Carnegie noticed something important. The kids around him? They were just surviving, going through the motions, waiting for the weekend. Carnegie was different. After work, while everyone else was resting, he was learning. He'd read books, practice writing, study anything he could get his hands on. Why? Because he understood something most people miss. Poor isn't permanent unless you stop learning. At 14, Carnegie got a new job as a telegraph messenger boy. Now, this wasn't glamorous. He basically ran around Pittsburgh delivering messages. Rain, snow, heat didn't matter. He had to run. But here's where it gets interesting. Instead of just delivering messages and going home, Carnegie stayed late. He watched the telegraph operators, studied how they worked, asked questions, and then he taught himself something nobody else was learning: how to read telegraph messages by sound alone. Back then, telegraphs clicked out messages in Morse code. Most people had to write them down to understand them. Carnegie? He could hear a message once and know exactly what it said. That skill alone made him irreplaceable. Within months, he wasn't a messenger anymore. He was an operator, making real money now, real opportunity. Lesson number 1 right here. Your job isn't just your job. It's your classroom. Carnegie is now 18, working for the Pennsylvania Railroad. This is 1853. America is exploding with growth. Railroads are spreading everywhere. Cities are popping up. Industry is booming. And Carnegie is right in the middle of it all. One day, his boss, a guy named Thomas Scott, offers him something unusual. He says, "Andrew, there's a company selling shares for $500. It's a sleeping car company. I think it's going to be huge. You should invest." $500. That was more money than Carnegie had ever seen in his life. But he believed in the opportunity. So he borrowed the money from a local bank, bought the shares, and this is where the bet begins. Because Carnegie didn't just invest once and hope for the best. He made a decision that day. Every extra dollar I make goes into investments. Not into clothes, not into impressing people, not into living large, into businesses that were growing with America. Here's what most people don't realize about Carnegie. For the next 10 years, he lived like he was still poor. He was making good money now, better than most people, but you wouldn't know it by looking at him. While his coworkers were upgrading their apartments, buying nicer clothes, going out, Carnegie kept his lifestyle the same. Every raise? Invested. Every bonus? Invested. Every dividend payment? Reinvested. He was betting on one simple idea. America is growing fast. I want to own pieces of that growth. Railroads, bridge companies, telegraph lines, oil, iron. He spread his bets, but he never stopped betting. This is the part people today struggle with. Because we live in a world of instant results. Order food, it's here in 20 minutes. Watch a show, no commercials, just stream it. Make money, people expect it overnight. But Carnegie? He was playing a 20-year game. By the 1870s, Carnegie is in his late 30s. He's already wealthy. Not rich yet, but comfortable. And then he sees something. Steel. Up until now, most buildings and bridges were made with iron. It worked, but it was weak, heavy, expensive to produce in large quantities. Steel was stronger, lighter, more flexible. But the problem? It was crazy expensive to make. Most people looked at steel and said, too risky, too expensive, stick with iron. Carnegie looked at steel and said, this is the future. He believed that technology would eventually make steel cheaper to produce. And when that happened, demand would explode. So he went all in, sold off other investments, focused everything on building the best, most efficient steel company in America. People thought he was crazy, but Carnegie had learned something by now. Big rewards come from big bets that take time. Carnegie wasn't just building a steel company. He was obsessed with making it better than everyone else's. He hired the smartest engineers, bought the newest equipment, studied every detail of production, and he did something radical. He vertically integrated everything. What does that mean? Most companies bought raw materials from others. Carnegie? He bought the mines, the railroads, the ships. He controlled every step, from digging iron or out of the ground to delivering finished steel. That meant lower costs, higher profits, total control. By the 1880s, Carnegie Steel was producing more steel than all of Great Britain. Let me say that again. One man, one company, outproducing an entire country. Steel was everywhere now. Bridges, skyscrapers, railroads, ships, factories. America was being rebuilt with Carnegie's steel. Fast forward to 1901. Carnegie is 65 years old. He's been grinding for decades. And J.P. Morgan, one of the most powerful bankers in the world, comes to him with an offer. Morgan wants to buy Carnegie Steel. The price? $480 million. In today's money, that's over $14 billion. Carnegie accepts. Just like that, he becomes one of the wealthiest people on the planet. But here's what's important. This didn't happen overnight. It took 20 years of patient investing, 20 years of living below his means, 20 years of betting on growth instead of instant gratification. You might be thinking, okay, cool story, but that was over 100 years ago. The world's different now. True, but human behavior? That hasn't changed. People today still want fast money, quit too early, chase trends, avoid patience. Carnegie did the exact opposite, and modern data proves he was right. Studies show that long-term investors crush short-term traders. The S&P 500, if you held it for 20 years, you'd beat almost every day trader out there. Warren Buffett, same strategy. Long-term bets, patience. The pattern is clear. Wealth isn't built fast. It's built consistently. So what's your version of Carnegie's bet? You don't need a steel factory, but you can make a modern 20-year commitment. Here are some real examples. Option 1, index fund investing. Put money into an S&P 500 or total market index fund every month for 20 years. Not exciting, but historically, it works. Option 2, high-income skills. Learn something valuable. Copywriting, coding, video editing, sales. Master it over years, not weeks. Option 3, build a brand. YouTube, newsletter, podcast, online business. Grow it slowly, consistently, for years. Option 4, real estate. Buy property. Hold it. Let time and appreciation do the work. The point isn't which one you choose. The point is, choose something and don't quit. Carnegie had a simple philosophy about money. First, make all you can. Then, invest it wisely. Then, give it away. And that's exactly what he did. After selling his company, he spent the rest of his life giving money away. Libraries, schools, universities, concert halls. Over $350 million donated. Almost his entire fortune. He didn't hoard wealth. He understood that money is a tool, not the goal. And that mindset, that's what separates people who build wealth from people who chase it. Let's be real. Most people will never make this bet. Not because they can't, because they won't. Here's why. Reason 1, they want proof too early. They invest for 6 months and say, this isn't working. 6 months? Carnegie bet 20 years. Reason 2, they compare themselves to others. Someone else gets rich fast, and they think their plan is broken. Carnegie ignored everyone, stayed focused, Reason 3, they quit when it gets hard. The market crashes. Progress slows. They bail. Carnegie saw setbacks as part of the process. The truth? Long-term bets feel boring until they don't. Andrew Carnegie didn't have a secret formula. He didn't have insider knowledge. He didn't get lucky. He made one decision: invest for the long run and never quit. That's it. No complexity. No tricks. Just patience plus consistency. If you take one thing from this video, take this. Wealth is built quietly before it ever shows loudly. If this story made you think differently about money and patience, hit that subscribe button right now. Because this channel is about real wealth strategies, not get-rich-quick nonsense. Drop a comment and tell me, what's your 20-year bet? What are you committing to, no matter how long it takes? Let's build wealth the right way.